Namaste, Angels of the weekly love reading for the period of today, February 25th, through March 3rd, Saturday, March 3rd. Beginning with the dice, and the first one is Dirty Movie. Cocktail. And Forget It. Spirit says yes. Massage. I got mine already. I was at the spa like all day yesterday. And Friday rather. And spend money. Okay. Going to the dice. I'm beginning very appropriately with the Goddess. You know what? I'm going to go to this opening message first because I forgot. I pulled out my I was guided to pull out the Journey of Love cards again. And interestingly, so we'll see where this goes. If anywhere notable, I was guided not to use the hashtag creepy deck this week. I'm not really sure why. But also very appropriately with this deck, I have shuffled to She is the Moon. And it is card number 21 equals 3. So this can be representative of parties of 3. This goddess here, if she is in fact is the moon, would be the goddess, at least for our purposes. So this could be Venus. And then I see all of the elements that we've been discussing in Venus's regard. Here's her air, right? All this white and these like wisps of smoke. I don't know if you can see those. And then she's surrounded by this huge green ring, and that would be like her Earth, her Taurus. Here's her Libra, her Gemini. And then there's these blue waves, very interestingly. That might be Pisces or the water energy in general. But right now, Venus is in fact in Pisces. So I thought that was extra special, even more so than, having, as is typical, shuffled to the Goddess in the other deck. And very nice. When I picked that up, Mary was behind it with blessings. So I think that that's what we have in store this week. The general reading was pretty much all very positive, like major arcana and court cards. And yeah, so I think that that's what we have in store this week. Let's go over card number 21, our opening message. She is the moon. The light of the moon ebbs and flows. The wisdom of patience is not about waiting around for something to happen rather than getting up and getting it done. The wisdom of patience is that of a gardener who consults the lunar calendar. The right timing promoting growth. Planting when there is fertile soil and allowing the soil to rest and to replenish when it needs to. Now that can be Pisces, that period of rest and wait, and stepping back. And I say that because for me, in the traditional tarot, the Hanged Man represents the planet Neptune and Pisces, which it rules. And that air of suspension, that limbo that need to take a pause and to not act and to instead just observe. So that can also be in itself the Venus in Pisces. You are being asked to check in with your timing. Is now the time for action or for rest? It can change quickly. That's another thing about the Hangman energy, as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't last very long. It's very temporary, right? So you got to take advantage of it or not. It can change quickly, just like the phases of the moon. If you're unsure, that's okay too. Perhaps you're waiting for more light to reveal the way. As the moon grows full, all things will come in time. Your message comes through this oracle. Your manifestation is unfolding in perfect timing. If you feel something isn't happening fast enough or is happening quickly and you're unsure as to whether or not you're ready for it, be assured that all is well. if something's not clear for you and you'd like it to be, or to be more so at least, the clarity you seek will come to you also. Don't worry and don't try to force the insight. Just be with what is happening now and trust. You're moving and growing and all is well. Soon, you will see that for yourself, just as the moon grows full and revealing, even in the midst of deepest night. Also, the moon represents the sign of Pisces too. The moon itself, in the tarot at least. So yeah, I think that this is totally Venus in Pisces also, not just about the moon. And we do have both of those going on concurrently at present. We have a full moon on March 1st. So it is during this week, during this period for which this reading is. It will be the full worm moon on March 1st. Waiting. It's a little poem here at the end. These moments are precious, like jewels on the crown of life. They beckon my heart, forming memories that sparkle with joy. And like the longing of a sweet caress, they draw near, melting into one, showing what is possible on the journey of life, waiting for the seasons change. On that note, I will go now to the goddess. And opening to Golden Memories, which is a card about our need to let go. Once again, and I know a lot of you are going through it because Neptune would do that. Neptune would bring up these illusions and thoughts where we got to decipher what's real, what's fake. What did I let go of? What do I have yet to let go of? So a lot of us are going to be dealing with that right now with all the Piscean energy by which we're surrounded. This card shows up to say there is something or some things from your past that are negative emotions and they're just baggage. Drop them where they are and only take the positivity with you. The Golden Memories. And now opposite the Guardian, same colors being used. It's very fiery but also dark too. It's kind of weird actually. And I don't think I ever looked at it like this before. Very bright with all the red and yellow and orange, but also very dark. Even the guardian angel here, his wings are yellow, like I would imagine Uriel's, but his being is a little bit more darker and shadowy. So maybe this is about releasing some of those shadow aspects of self that are arising. Guardian and the Gateway. This is about moving forward, being in the present moment as the other card described, and just continuing to move forward. Guardian and Embrace. Restoral. This is like Temperance for me. It's one person's inner masculine and feminine coming together very harmoniously. In balance, restoration, wholeness, like the Temperance card means for me. Guardian and divine guidance, maybe provided by the Guardian. And it's more moon and more evidence that like this support, this guardianship that the universe is willing to provide us with, it's infinite. It never ends. You can always speak manifestation of positive things, of advice, of guidance, of support, of clarity. Make an intention that that's what you desire, that's what you need. And that's what can be provided to you any and every time you do it, from now to infinity. Divine guidance. I'm going to cut. It's also about surrender, though. Anytime we see the moon, for me, not only is it feminine energy, but it's feminine energy of surrender. So you want the guidance, then you surrender to it. You have to listen to it. It doesn't mean anything if you receive messages and then we just do something contrary. And coming to the Golden Path, which is also about being restored and made whole. The Golden Path is very much like the Yellow Brick Road for me. When you get to the end of the Yellow Brick Road, or at least when they do in the movie, they find the Emerald City. When we get through the Golden Path of life, as depicted on this card, from me, the way I see it, at the end is the Emerald Ray. And that is the healing ray of Archangel Raphael, the Archangel of healing and the heart chakra. So specifically healing in the area of love, in beginning with and definitely including self-love. Because if we don't achieve that, then we can't love anybody else properly either. We can't love anybody else wholly if we ourselves don't feel made whole and loved by at least us. And really awesome. The overall energy is answered prayer. So this card for me is very much about Aquarius, which we're also experiencing this week. Until we reach the period of that full moon, we'll still be experiencing the energy of the new moon in Aquarius. And we'll definitely be experiencing the energy of the solar eclipse, at least for these 2 weeks. And eclipse energy usually lasts for months, actually. So answer prayer, dreams come true, dreams realized, in part because we realized them. We got up, like described in that card that I read at the beginning, our opening message. We got up and we did something too. We were willing participants, and we followed the quote unquote wisdom. They mentioned the listening to the wisdom. We followed it, the guardian, the message, the divine guidance. We surrendered to it. So that's how we brought about these wishes come true. The divine feminine about herself, the masculine about the feminine, about himself, and the union as a whole. Overall, what the masculine would have the feminine do toward the reading, toward the union this week, in regard to the union this week, what he himself is willing to. And what the universe would have both masculine and feminine to do. And the outcome. The feminine. Universal heart. So maybe we are the ones, for the most part, who are like consciously making an effort to heal. We're the ones, for the better part, who are getting up and participating in our own betterment. And that's really awesome. The masculine as it relates to the feminine, fear. Fear turned up. I spoke about it for a minute before I started the general reading, and then it turned up as I was shuffling in the form of the 8 of air, or swords, and then later as the moon. The moon is about the need to release fear too. So this is the masculine wanting to approach not only his own healing, but healing of the union. But being afraid, I think, in really good part, of the good things he's seen. It's sort of like, wow, wait till I tell you what's behind this. It's sort of like too good to be true. Too many blessings. I saw blessings before too. I told you I picked up the goddess card. Mary was behind it with blessings. Now our overall energy is answered prayer. Too many blessings. Too much answered prayer. Too many things beginning to flow. Too many things going his way. Feminine coming around. Him wanting to go around to the feminine. And, make that claim. He's not used to it. It's like nobody ever gives me anything. So like how and why would even the universe? No one ever does anything for me. Nothing ever goes my way. No one ever gives me anything. And so it's this answered prayer that is so very scary. And it's causing fear, pride, ego. If I let go of what I have, going back to the golden memories, which can be about fire signs sometimes, for me too, and that's coming now, that maybe there are specifically some fire signs. I'm feeling Leo really strong, going through this. I mean, it can be anybody, but I am feeling Leo really strong. Somebody's listening to it. Listen to this. I bet you that is a Leo, or their masculine or feminine is listening to it. The person is a Leo, and there is like stuff onto which they're holding that it makes them miserable. It makes them miserable, like I described in the beginning. And it's just negative emotions and attachment. But at the same time, it's sort of easier to to continue to carry this baggage than to take a chance on the unknown, which the moon also represents in the tarot. The moon represents the unknown and the need to use our intuition and to trust and to have faith and, let go of fear and move forward. I'm also getting, it's more fire sign energy. And I held those two cards up and I talked about like the darkness associated with them too, but also with the fire energy. It's 10 of Wands. That's what it is. It's the 10 of Wands. That's what I'm seeing now. And it's like, I'll continue to carry this burden. Rather than lay it down, I'll continue to carry it because I don't know what that other thing is. And it doesn't look like any burdens associated with it. But how could that be? We're talking about me. How could I be given, a life without burden, a path without burden? That doesn't happen to me. I've never gotten anything, like that. Everything that since I was a kid that I've gotten, it came the hard way. And I'm sorry I spent so much time on these two cards, but all of that just came to me. Wow. Okay, I just saw something else. So the card that I was saying when I first picked up the answer prayer and said, "Oh wow, look what's behind this," is Moon Tree, which is all about not only the moon, and again we have the full moon this week during the period for which this reading is, but this is a card of sacred marriage. It's about sacred marriage. It's the sacred marriage between heaven and earth, and maybe the sun and the moon. And the sacred marriage between two sacred beings, the divine masculine and feminine. That's what it is. And now I'm being shown more. Underneath that is abundance. So this is like the Venus again. She is the goddess and planet of abundance. This is financial blessings. This is material blessings. And this is blessings of love. This is answered prayer. Underneath that, it's upside down, but I was also being shown, and it's one of the things that I said, ooh, just now, before I even realized that abundance was there. I was seeing part of this. It's inner child. So just like I talked about, and I went back to Aquarius and the Aquarius moon when I first began talking. This card also very Aquarian, very water sign too. So air, water, and this earth. Look at all this green. This is also very Venus. And there's a child here that may have something to say and may be the child that never got anything, easy. Nothing ever came easy for this child. And this can represent the divine masculine too, and why he has this fear here of moving forward. It could also specifically have to do with his relationships with feminine energies, and perhaps even more specifically, for the most part, females. That something never went, and maybe from when he was a child, again, maybe with his own mother or another feminine energy in his life, his grandmother, his aunt, somebody that was responsible for him or something. Something even could have gone wrong with a teacher, like where something made a really, really stark impression, and he's never let go of it. He's never let go of it. And it has to go now. And underneath that is what he has to do. He's got to transmute all that negative emotion to love, to continue his rise. And I talked about the marriage between heaven and earth. Behind this is the heaven on earth card. This can't happen, similar to the Golden Memories card. We can't achieve this heaven on earth until we let go of the negative stuff that's filling that space. When we vacate the space, then it can be filled with positive. It can be filled with what will make us feel like we are living heaven on earth. But not until then. As long as we hold on to this old thing and keep the space filled and clogged with that, this new one won't come in. It just won't. So going back to the moon for a second, moons, particularly full moons, which is what we're about to embark upon, are about death, release, endings, to give way to new beginnings. So it's the perfect time to let go of this and anything else that's holding you back. Like fearlessly, have some faith. That's what's required. Masculine about himself, coming into that need for balance and restoration, like the Temperance card that I keep talking about, and to be made whole. But also this very harmonious connection between air and water that we continue to see too. And the need to say something and reveal something and to come into some knowing about himself and to express something, maybe something that's been there since, again, that child. And we saw this last week, that there was a progression from the inner child that had something to say, had something on their chest, something on their mind, something in their throat that needed to come forth, that's marked by these large white circles precisely over the areas where there will be communication areas, the throat chakra, the third eye chakra, the crown chakra. So there's a continuation of this, of the masculine still trying to heal that inner child and say what he has to say, feel less restricted, more free to think what he wants to think and feel what he wants to feel. And that's here with this blue and this female and this feminine is where the emotions come in with the water. Feel what he wants to feel. He looks afraid to. If you look at this man's face, he's like looking straight ahead. Here's the emotion. It's in his eyes. You see the blue? And even like dripping from his face, even like sort of like tears. The woman's not sad. She's being very nurturing and supporting and loving, like water is. So this is about healing and restoration. Perhaps so that he can let go of this fear as it relates to the feminine. And that's fine because, again, she's working on healing this week too. And the union, wow. This card, probably more than any of my others, is absolutely about healing, surrender, faith, everything that I described, and I'll tell you why. I hope that you can see like the scars on this woman. Like she's seriously been through something. And she's marred by it. She's got battle scars. Still, look how at peace she is. That requires faith. That requires surrender. I still feel safe enough around you, universe, that I can even let go to sleep while you heal me. Here's Venus with her ray, sending healing energy and abundance. an abundance of love from the universe straight through from her crown chakra down. Here's Mars sending the same, the masculine and feminine, so she too can be in balance and come into that sort of harmony where she can embrace herself, like we saw in the beginning as I was shuffling that embrace card, and the masculine, one person's inner masculine and feminine coming together in perfect harmony. Overall, creativity, more moon, more Pisces, and more air, specifically Aquarius. So this could be about communication too, maybe even where it might not be in person. We might move more to phone and email and text, even to get some of these things out. But it's gonna be like a step and a start toward communication, and coming up with other creative ways to not only express ourselves, but to help to bring about our own abundance, to get up, listen to the wisdom, get up, and be a willful participant in our own now, as described in the opening message. But this card for me also can represent specifically more air and water, and even more specifically Aquarius and Pisces. And in that sense, it may be coming off the new moon, and we're still doing this co-creating thing, and even for ourselves as individual creating thing toward our own the newness that came with the partial solar eclipse and with the Aquarius moon. What would the masculine have the feminine to do this week? Love. This is herself. This is him. Just love. Love is the only thing that's real anyway. So in anyone's regard, whatever you do, in all things you do, love. That's what he wants. What's he willing to do? He's got a gateway to approach. So this is why he's preparing. This is what this is about. And it may be what some of the fear is about too. But he's still willing to walk through. Will the universe have the two to do? Let go of the baggage. This bag of like flaming shit, really? That's what it is. Like a flaming bag of crap. What is the crap? It's regret, it's resentment, it's fear, it's ego, it's pride. It's like all negative emotion that we don't need and that we cannot take with us if we're going to move into this new positive space. It just can't come. So until we let it go, we don't go either. We can't come either. And again, it may have something specifically to do with the fire sign. And you know what? That fire sign can be Mars himself. Now that I think about it, it can be tied to this fear and the masculine. Mars is the masculine planet of love, as we saw here, or as I described here, with this red ray that's going through this woman's crown chakra. Mars is the red planet, so it's over, and it rules fire sign Aries. On top of that, right now it is in Sagittarius, which is all about love and right Cupid and shooting the arrow, and on top of that, it's also a ruler of Scorpio. So the outcome. Wow, the two cards I spent all that time on in the beginning, side by side, are our last two now. The Guardian. The outcome is this infinite support until we get there, and then thereafter too, to infinity. Awesome. That means we can face whatever we have to face this week and take chances and take risks if we decide to take action at all. And that part will be, I guess, more personal. And I'm going to go to my angel tarot, beginning with Unity, or the High Priest, or the Hierophant, which represents the sign of Taurus in the tarot. For me, it's a Virgo. Oh, speaking of Virgo, see, there's always a reason. It's something that's there meant to jog my memory. So I did a lot of talking about Virgo last week, and I said there was a lot of party of three stuff involving Virgo, and I even had something click with that as maybe a reason why we're approaching this week, March 1st, the Virgo full moon. Yes, it's the worm moon, but it's the full moon in Virgo. So that may have had something to do with it. And I did have all kinds of stories from you guys about parties of three involving a Virgo, including even a married couple among us, 3D married, but they are of the Illumined, so they have to wait for the prophecies like everybody else. And although they're married and living in the same home, there's been separation for like 2 years, maybe sleeping in separate rooms and taking separate trips and all of this sort of thing. Last week, actually, Masculine, who is a Virgo, returns from one of these such trips that he had been on alone and visiting some family. And when he got there, said, actually before he got there, text before he got there, that when he came home, he was leaving. He was going back to where he had just been, and he wasn't coming back again. He was moving there. She contacts me. We do some healing, energy work on both. First him, and then her, removing some curses and things like that. He gets there after, and we've been doing this. And before I had also done like not even a sale or anything. As I was talking to her, I pulled out my cards. I did like a reading for on the spot for free and all that kind of stuff. So when I talked to her, and I said, "Well, I see you guys talking when he arrives, and you're gonna like work through this stuff." Sure enough, she messages me, "Yes, you were right. This happened. We did talk. Just want to let you know you were right. I just want to let you know your collective readings were right too. All of that played out." But she didn't make the connection yet about the Virgo party of three, and neither did I. So we both, continue on in what we're doing. She's praying, so she's being a willful participant, in her own situation too. Although I was doing the energy healing. And fast forward, in a matter of days, he was leaving and not returning ever again, despite the fact they were married, to they're moving into a new home. They started packing up to move into a smaller apartment together, more cozy. And on top of that, some things were revealed to her, I guess having cleared some blocks and removed some curses that were put there as veils to prevent her from knowing. Things became clear when those veils were lifted, and she learned and confirmed thereafter that the husband, while visiting those other family members, had been introduced to someone else with the family's intent of hooking him up with someone else, even though he was married. And that was a Virgo party of three. I went through all of that to tell you about a Virgo party of three, but I've had some really, really crazy ones. Even one this morning, I was talking to one of my clients / friends, Facebook friends, early this morning, but she's on another continent and time zone, as is the woman I was talking about prior, a completely different continent and time zone. This one this morning, the masculine is a Leo. Wow. Okay. So I was been talking about fire signs and specifically Leo and needing to let go of something that would certainly apply to him. Let me tell you, that would certainly apply to him. But she's into charts, natal charts and stuff, and she knows how to read them and she knows how to prepare them, and she really understands, the transits and the conjunctions and things. And the rest of his chart is sort of Virgo laden. So although he's not a Virgo sun, his chart is full of Virgo. Similar to the way that mine is, like, for example, full of Gemini. And it applied. the whole party of three thing. And now I see why the fire sign, now I know that there's a fire sign component too, and perhaps specifically Leo. So anyway, all of that came from the Hierophant, but this can also be about commitment, even marriage, even sacred marriage, if not 3D, as was depicted by the Moon Tree card. Especially opposite renewal or judgment, which represents the planet Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, as in like a full moon, and the sign of Scorpio, as far as I'm concerned. And Archangel Jeremiel, who I talked about in the general reading, and is the patron of like past lives and past life issues. We can sort of try to connect with him, if we're willing to surrender to guidance, divine guidance, try to connect with him if we need clarity about a past life situation. Review and evaluate a favorable assessment of the facts. It's time to move in a new direction as it relates to relationships in general. We're focusing on love, but even in general, like platonic relationships, judgment is about the fact that we've reached like a juncture, a crossroad, where we have to decide like where we go from here, if anywhere. Like we're going to part ways, we're going to continue on together. What are we doing? Opposite the Hierophant, I'd say it's a decision to, for some, it can actually be a decision to divorce, I just heard. And that may be something that you need to let go, or to exit a relationship, maybe a party of three, that, you know, for which you're not meant. And for others, and this would align with the general actually, it can be about commitment. It can be about proposals. It can be about marriage. It can be about moving in together, all of those things. Renewal or judgment. Opening now to the King of Air. Who's brilliant, impartial, professional, and diplomatic. Speak your mind with confidence. So we just saw the need to get some things off our chest, off our minds. Seek out professional advice if you need to. Also, balance mental and emotional considerations. Isn't that what the man in the picture with the woman with the water was doing? That card balance? That was balancing mental and emotional considerations. The King of Air is an Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra, or somebody taking on those traits or attributes this week, and maybe somebody needs to get something off their chest. They were also showing me the Chariot, Major Arcana card number 7 with Archangel Metatron. An important achievement, self-discipline and willpower, maybe even some public recognition. The important achievement can be moving forward, or even divorce is going to be moving forward for some to whom that applies. But certainly, of course, moving in together or getting married is absolutely moving forward. Entering a commitment that you decided upon, you co-create with a partner, is moving forward. The Chariot is, in fact, about moving. It's a card of movement. It's a card of victory. It can be about moving from one place to another, moving in together. It can be about traveling to see another person, right? Returning from traveling alone to joining your wife, like in the example I just spoke of. And it can be about modes of transportation as well. Although nothing's coming to me as to how that would connect to love necessarily, but you know, a new car or something can be involved, or how am I going to travel? How am I going to reach you? By car, by plane? I got to figure out how to get there so that we can do this. Chariot. And the King of Fire is motivational, idealistic, ambitious, and charismatic. Focus, 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 and communicate with vision. Be a leader. Take advice from someone creative. The King of Fire is a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries, maybe even a Scorpio. Again, Aries and Scorpio, both ruled by the red planet, Mars, the masculine planet of love. Or it can be anyone of any zodiac, male or female, likened to these traits or attributes, particularly this week. And like taking charge of their own life, taking their own life by the reins, like it's pictured here, and getting in the driver's seat, being the leader, getting in the driver's seat of their own life. If you're not first, you're last, right? Like Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby getting in the driver's seat. Chariot, I'm going to cut. Nice. It's a new beginning. This is the Ace of Water. Falling in love with the resurgence of a relationship, spiritual growth and enhanced intuition, maybe even a new home. Didn't I say it? A new home, moving in together, commitment, right? A house is not a home. If there's no one there, it's the people that make the home. There may not be a physical structure, but us coming together is a new home too. The Ace of Water can also be about reconciliation. It can be about brand new relationships, of course, but it can be about reconciliation too, having allowed the old one to die. And here we are in new. Death and rebirth. Pluto, Scorpio, full moon. Yeah. And I shouldn't be surprised. Guess what the overall energy is? Here it's called awakening, but this is the hangman that I was talking about. That air of suspension, that limbo, that pause. That's not a bad pause. It's a pause to give us an opportunity to decide, do I continue to pause, or is it time that I took some action? Similar to our opening message. As I mentioned, as I was reading that opening message, the hangman or awakening card represents for me the planet Neptune and Pisces, which it rules. Look at things from a different perspective. You're at a temporary standstill. It's important to be yourself. It's important to be your true whole self in this moment. You cannot be lying to yourself about what it is that you want, who it is that you want, where it is that you want, whatever the case. You have to keep it trill with you in this moment. And it perhaps involves a party of three. It may be a party of three specifically with a Pisces. And guess what? The story I told you, yes, there's a Virgo divine masculine, but the feminine is a Pisces. So that we talked about that too and laughed about that after it was all rectified. Yeah, that Neptune can be confusing. It can cause veils. It can cause illusion. It can cause, dreams. And that's not necessarily bad. We need to fantasize and dream and have hopes and wishes and things. But in honesty with ourselves, decide now, like, then what? Do I wait for these things to happen? Because sometimes that's appropriate. Or is there some sort of action I need to take? Boom. Masculine. Ace of Fire. An exciting new opportunity. Career advancement. Change your life now. The Ace of Fire or Wands is the most phallic card in the tarot, at least as far as I'm concerned. Somebody could be getting the wand. This can be really physical. This can be about sex. This can be about a new opportunity or an opportunity to renew love. Not unlike the king, the same kind of energy. This is fire energy. This is something or someone about whom we are extremely passionate and like driven by. So it's an opportunity you don't want to miss. Perhaps with a Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, or Scorpio, but not necessarily. And I'm feeling like love brand new, or love even with a past love, a past life love, unlike you've experienced before, like completely unlike before. Brand new opportunity. But the masculine feeling that fear and expectation of disappointment, right? I don't get blessings. I don't get wishes coming true. I don't get answered prayer like we saw in that first spread. So he's got these 2 cups here, but he's worried about all the disappointment and things that have caused him to be pessimistic in the past, like spilled cups. And so he's not really noticing the 2 or appreciating the fact that he still has the 2. He has the 2, and he's never not going to have the 2. He's like missing that. He's not counting his blessings because he doesn't expect to have any. Things not turning out the way you'd hoped, not seeing the positive in the situation, and crying over spilled milk. Masculine subconscious, boom, it's the 3 of fire. So it's a party of 3 potentially involving a fire sign, maybe specifically a Leo this week. But of course, this can be any zodiac sign. And when it's the 3 of fire, for me, because wands are the most phallic symbol in the tarot, this is pretty much definitely a love triangle as opposed to another kind of party of 3, like someone's family butting in. Abundance. It can also mean that, though, right? Everything has a positive side, too. Things look very good. Have patience at this time and make long-term plans that can be connected with the new opportunity. Feminine. It's another 3. The World with Archangel Michael. A job well done. Joy, contentment, and gratitude. The path toward enlightenment. The World, for me, unlike many others, is not so much about the world being your oyster, the world being at your feet, the world being in your hands, whatever it is. No, all those sayings, those cliches, none of that. It's about being eased out of a situation you have no business in anymore, but you had difficulty leaving. It's about being pulled away from stuff that you go, but you didn't. You tried to cling, and now the universe is saying, let me help you. Okay, you overstayed your welcome here, or with this thing, with this person, this situation, and we got to move on. We have a 3 mirroring a 3 here. Again, we have a 3 that's our overall energy as well, the Hangman. So there's a lot of this party of 3 things. Karmic situations, past life issues, things we may need to talk to Archangel Jeremiah about if we are so inclined, going on. The feminine is surrounded by the moon, very appropriately. Moon never fails me. It shows up in every reading that I have that involves a moon cycle, or, like a new moon or a full moon. Moon represents the sign of Pisces, yet again, like our overall energy, the Hangman for me. Important psychic insights, events behind the scenes, release fears that hold you back. That applies to both of us. Something's been holding the feminine back where she couldn't let go of this stuff by herself. So now the universe is helping her to. In the feminine subconscious, it's the Hermit. You can be a willful participant, and you can be your whole self in this moment, whole honest self with you in this moment, if you take an opportunity to first go within. The Hermit, get this, represents the sign of Virgo in the tarot. Here it's with Archangel Raziel. Spend time in quiet meditation, discovery, and spiritual teaching. Now, the Hermit can be about teaching others lessons too, and teaching others, learning from others, all of that. But it's first and foremost, it's about going within to learn ourselves. And you need to do that in order to be able to release fear sometimes, as I talked about at length with regard to the masculine at the beginning of the reading, sort of randomly. Crowning, the High Priestess with Archangel Haniel. Here's our 2. Here's our need to exercise some faith. Right? 2s represent faith, duality, partnership, faith in partnership, trust in your relationship, trust in your union. Listen to your intuition. Have patience. Sometimes the world requires patience, because now when we finally feel ourselves being eased out of a situation, we can get excited about it. We couldn't do it all that time by ourselves, and it was taking forever. But now, once we feel the universe pulling us out of it, now we want it over too. Nope. Now it might require some patience of you that happens. And with these two sitting next to each other, I think it's definitely going to for a good bit. Consider carefully what you want before acting. As I said with the Hanged Man. The High Priestess is pretty good at that. She keeps some stuff to herself. She doesn't necessarily reveal everything until she's taken a moment to look around and observe. The High Priestess for me is a Gemini, but can also be a water sign according to practitioners of the tarot. At the root, the Sun with Archangel Uriel. Here's your Leo again. Actually, the Sun in the tarot represents the sign of Sagittarius. However, the Sun, Earth's star, the Sun rules Leo. Happy outcome, brilliant new ideas that lead to success. Have confidence in yourself. The Sun here, as was promised in our opening message, stuff hidden by the moon would be revealed. The Sun here is crossing the moon. When you have the Sun and the moon turn up together, it does illustrate that what is done in the dark will come to light. That what has been in the dark will be illuminated. Light will be shone upon it. Archangel Uriel is going to see to it. His name means God's light. So if anyone can shine that light on what we need to see, it is him. At the heart of the matter, boom, the Ace of Earth, the inflow of abundance, a promising business venture, important documents or contracts. This can be a brand new relationship, maybe with a direct earth sign, a Virgo. It's crossing the Hermit. A Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, maybe between an earth sign and an air sign, or an earth sign and a water sign. But really we have all the elements here because we also have this fire. We have this fire too, the Ace of Fire. Two aces crossing one another too. So not only are we getting a new opportunity, but it's going to be super lucrative and abundant. And what we've been waiting for, to the masculine's surprise, if he's willing to let go of this energy of nothing good ever happens to me. And the Ace of Earth was at the heart of the matter in the general reading too. So you may want to check it out for that reason alone. Lastly, for some angel therapy, beginning with ear chakras, notice messages that appear as sounds, music, or words from both external sources and within your mind. These messages are real answers to your prayers. This can also be connected to what I was feeling about. It might not, maybe not so much physical, face-to-face communication, but still receiving communications electronically. And opening two, indigo. The person you're inquiring about is an indigo, meaning a highly sensitive, natural-born leader. Indigo. And solar plexus chakra. It's safe for you to be powerful, right? This powerful leader, that's a good thing. Safe for you to take charge of your life in positive ways too. To be that willful participant in your own present and now. Indigo. And Ascended Masters, powerful, loving, and wise spiritual teachers are watching over and guiding you. But they also want us to look at, cut your cords. Ask Archangel Michael to clear away any old attachments to fear that stem from past relationships, freeing you from destructive patterns. Cut your cords. And I'm going to cut the cards on that note. God box. Write any worries, concerns, or desires on a piece of paper that you put into a special container called a God box as a way of letting go, perfect for a full moon, and allowing the divine to help you. I love this. How awesome is this? The overall energy is release. Work with Archangel Michael to let go of what no longer serves you or your purpose. Release in the Angel Tarot is also the Death card, Major Arcana card number 13. So this is like the Death card, which again represents the planet Pluto in the sign of Scorpio, the planet and zodiac sign of death and rebirth and new beginnings. Ace of Water. Further from that, to the masculine, have you asked your angels for help with this? Your angels want to help you with this situation. However, they require your permission before they can intervene in your free will choices. Feminine, very nice. More moon for us. More feminine energy of surrender. More strength, more support, more, girl power. Express your divine feminine energy, embracing its magical intuition and nurturing qualities. Masculine. From the Journey of Love Oracle, which I'll read at the end, you got Yin Yang Lover. I love it because in that balance card that we looked at with the masculine or the male and the female together, the air and water, above their heads was a yin yang symbol. Feminine, our card from the Journey of Love Oracle is the spaces between the words. So there may be some need to read between the lines, maybe where the masculine has been unable to express certain things, get certain things off his chest, or where we've been unable to. Maybe this is connected also to the electronic communication. From the Tony Carmine Solano Universal Love Oracle, more Aquarius and water sign, or more air and water with the mystic and the need for the masculine to pay close attention to his intuition, High Priestess, and to observe and to be truthful with himself and to release fear, to exercise freedom like an Aquarian, but also wanting to be surrounded by love and emotion like a water sign. Feminine. Maybe in order for them to do that, we've got to show them some forgiveness and compassion. But we've got to do that to ourselves first in order to be able to do the same for them. Says Kuan Yin. And from the Angel Tarot, it's the Page of Earth. Scholarly, dependable, patient, and successful is the Page of Earth. You know what else they are? At least to me, a Virgo. They are the youthful, or the more youthful and sometimes, young acting, behaving, looking forever, of the earth element is Virgo. But of course, this can also represent Capricorn or Taurus or anybody of these traits or attributes. And also good news in the areas of abundance. The pages bring news, and this one brings news of abundance. Often financial. Good news about financial matters. Wanting to do something more challenging and maybe even a new area of study. So that can absolutely apply to love, even if it's bringing, news of finance and material. But this can be news of abundance in the area of love as well, like directly, as in a new relationship that is going to be, worth your effort and weight and time and, energy, and you're going to appreciate it. You're going to so value it. It's going to be, lucrative. It's going to be expensive. And for the feminine, I talked about maybe divorce for some, or leaving somebody, leaving something that you've been holding on to for a long time, letting go of it finally. That can be why we experience some mourning, perhaps. And the Three of Air, some sadness, great sadness. Take time to heal. There's a need to forgive yourself and others. I was just about to say, for some of us, this can be hurt that we've already experienced that doesn't come this week. We've experienced this pain, this hurt before. may be at the hands of the masculine, and that is why some of this forgiveness and compassion is necessary. Maybe this is having nothing to do with the masculine. This is having something to do with us and or somebody else, who's impactful upon us, that has caused us to hold on to emotions that would affect union as well. And that's whom and what or what we need to cut off and extend some forgiveness and compassion. That's another possibility. Okay, I will read now for you guys Yin Yang Lover first.
Won't touch the ground.